Hey friends, welcome back. I am Jason and I am going to attempt to save you time and money on footwear. Now, I have tried a lot of different kinds of footwear and I have struggled immensely to find something that has really worked for me. I've had this goal of finding the perfect shoe, the shoe that does it all, that's good all year round and is good for all of the various activities that I do. I'm a fairly active guy. I exercise regular. I hunt, I fish, I hike. I'm in swampy, muddy places. I do chores around the homestead here. I'm in the mud and the muck a lot, and I'm just a really active guy, and I do construction type work, and I'm hard on footwear, and I've been trying to find the one shoe that will do it all. And I've pretty much come to the conclusion, I'm not without hope yet. I haven't given up completely, but I've pretty much come to the conclusion that it doesn't exist. So there's no one shoe does it all. Because, well, for one, if we look at my feet, I've got these stupid fat feet, right? So part of my problem is that I've got a really wide foot, the forefoot here, where my toes are, so they spread out a lot. That's probably just from walking barefoot a lot. I've got really tough feet because of that. I can walk on the gravels. I have a relatively small foot, I guess, between a size of 9 and a 10, and I have a really high arch. And for some reason, that combination makes it very difficult for me to find a shoe that fits properly, is comfortable to wear, doesn't give me hot spots, doesn't smash my toes. Most recently, I have been trying out these Zero shoes. That is the brand, Zero shoes. I forget which model these are. This one of their boots, I guess. They're hiking boots. Anyway, they've been pretty comfortable. They don't have any support. That's by design. They're really, really foldable. They don't have much cushion, none of that. There's the flat sole, very minimal. It's kind of like a modern day moccasin. They are waterproof-ish, from what I have discovered. Water does seep in. I've stood in water and mud and stuff like that for extended period of time, and the water will eventually get through. I would say they're water resistant, not waterproof, in my experience. My number one complaint with these is that they came with these insoles, and as I hiked in them, the insole would slowly start creeping backwards like this. Creep backwards until it was like really high, and my toes were hanging off the front of the insole like this, and that was super irritating, really, really annoying. So I just took them out and threw them out, and I've been wearing them without. I've been working out in them, running in them, hiking, whatever. I did get them really wet, walked in water up over the top. Obviously, they won't be waterproof at that point. And they stayed wet for a full weekend. I could never really get them dried out, and I couldn't wear them dry, basically. I would have to force dry them by the fire or something like that. So that was not ideal. Would I buy another pair of these? Probably not. But as critical as I'm being of them, they do fit really well. They're very comfortable to wear. Like I said, they're kind of like a modern day moccasin. They're super comfy. These are some Danner boots. Danner boots are not cheap. These are fairly expensive boots. The leather is pretty high quality. They've been solid. I could never get these to fit right either. These are a wide. I ordered a wide. I ordered a size bigger, and they were too big. It felt like I was walking in clown shoes. Really annoying. So I got a half size smaller maybe. And then the one foot, my right foot, was too tight. It cramped my toe in the front, and it just kept pushing against the side. The leather's been good. The soles are good if you're on flat terrain, not super slick. If you're working indoors a lot, the sole will be fine. It's got kind of a high heel here, which I don't prefer, but that's the way most boots are built. And these have been pretty decent boots other than the fitment. They wouldn't fit my stupid fat foot. So the Danner boots have been pretty solid. I replaced the laces with paracord. These have been some of my favorite shoes right here. These are Keens, and they're just some slip-on leather shoes that I have been wearing for a long time, and they've held up really, really well. This is actually my second pair of these shoes. Eventually, the glue separates from the rubber separates from the leather on the toe. I fixed them once and then put them back together with some shoe glue, and just kept on rocking them. These are really comfortable. I really, really like these simple shoes, slip-on type shoes. I don't like laces for the most part, but sometimes laces are required. But these have been really, really good shoes. I forget what model these are, but the Keens that just slip on have been pretty good. A little bit of wear and tear. These are old, though. I mean, I've been wearing these for several years now, probably 3 years, give or take. These Keens, however, Avoid these at all costs. These stupid shoes. I bought these shoes for a trip. I went out to Colorado for a survival experience, and they started falling apart immediately. You see that? Super lame. Man, those things, they started falling apart almost immediately. Everything else is held up okay, but the sole, the rubber, started falling off, and I don't have time for that. Like, you know, they're not that cheap either. These are like $150, $160 boots, and they just fall apart. Look at that. Stupid. I will never buy another pair of Keens because and their customer service sucked. I contacted them, no response, didn't care whatsoever. Contacted them multiple times, and just zero care in the world for you. Yeah, Keen, even though I loved these, you're dead to me. These are my workout shoes for the most part. These are Reebok Nanos, I think they're called. I've had these for a long time. These are probably 10-year-old shoes, and they are still, nothing's wrong with them. I mean, they're a little thin and some spots from wear and tear, but these have a lot of miles on them. I mean, a lot of miles, and they are still going good. I have no complaints. I'm hard on these shoes. These Reebok Nanos, holy crap, CrossFit Nanos, these are good shoes. Hopefully they have maintained their quality. I don't know if they still make them. I'm not in touch with these types of things anymore, but I used to be semi-sponsored by Reebok, and they would give me some shoes. So they were awesome. Really good shoes. There's pros and cons to every kind of footwear. I like to wear sandals a lot. Sandals are really convenient if you're in and out of the water, especially, you know, in warmer weather, hot, humid climates like that I live in. If you're in and out of the water, you don't have to worry about your feet getting wet. You don't have to be drying your socks by the fire. You don't have to do any of that crap. Yes, I understand your toes are exposed, your ankles are exposed to snakes and kicking rocks and thorns and all that, but that's the trade-off, right? You're not going to get trench foot wearing these. That's the deal. That's the beauty behind wearing sandals. It just allows your feet to breathe. You don't get the athlete's foot fungal infections and all that kind of stuff as much as you would if you had them stuffed into a leather waterlogged boot. These are Chacos. These have probably been the best that I've worked with. I've worn lots of different kinds of sandals, Tevas and Zero shoes, but Chacos have been the best. These Zero shoe sandals, these are okay. The biggest complaint that I have with these is that when this gets wet or sweaty, your foot slides around a lot. So I'm not a fan of that. I do like how minimal they are, and they fit into a pack really nice. Like if you're wearing boots all day long, and then you finally make camp and you want to take off your boots and let your socks dry out, let your feet air out. These are nice to slip in a pack as a backup, just walk around camp kind of shoe. I really like rubber boots, especially in the winter time. In the summer, these can be really hot and sweaty, and that is a drag. In the wintertime, they are awesome. You stick a wool sock down in these things, and your feet stay perfectly dry. I mean, might get a little sweaty if it's warmer out during the day, but your feet stay, no matter what the mud and muck, the rivers and creeks and crossings and stuff that you're doing, you can throw these things on and just trudge right through whatever, and there's no care in the world. There's no maintenance, leather to maintain, nothing like that. They're heavy. Yes, that is definitely a thing. They definitely weigh a fair amount. They're the heaviest boot that I have. But they're also impervious to the elements. You don't have to do anything to them. They protect your feet, your ankles from snakes and all that kind of stuff too. They're just really good. These are Lacrosse Alpha Burley Pros. And I've worn lots of different kinds of boots. These are the best rubber boots that I have tried. I've also made my own footwear before. Here's some sandals that I made out of some really heavy-duty leather. And these just kind of lace up around your foot and around your ankle. And they work quite well, actually. They're pretty comfortable, not too bad. A little bit of wear and tear between the toes, but once you get used to that, it's not that big a deal. I've actually ran quite a few miles in these babies, and they do good, except in wet weather. This is when I lived out in the desert. These worked really good, but if you're in and out of creeks and mud and muck like you would be here where I live now, these would be not so good. They're slick on the surface where your foot is, and they're really slick on the bottom walking on wet rocks and stuff. So, all right, so what's my advice on footwear? Depends on the season, I guess. All year round, wool socks. You know, sometimes heavier socks in the wintertime. For the most part, just wear wool socks regardless. It's just going to be better for your foot. It's going to wick the moisture away. Antimicrobial benefits. Just wear wool socks. In the summertime, when the weather's hot and you're anticipating getting your feet wet, something that dries fast, just a mesh, really lightweight type shoe or boot that's going to dry really fast is something that I would recommend, again, with wool socks or some type of sandal. I've worn the Keen sandals with the closed box, protected box, but if you're in and out of the water in sandy, gravelly situations, you're going to fill up that toe box with all that gravel and sand. Then you got to take it off and dump it out and clean it out. Pain in the neck. Just open-toed sandals if you're going to wear sandals. That's my suggestion there. In the wintertime, hard to beat the rubber boots. They're heavy and bulky, but you just don't have to worry about it. You just trudge through whatever you want. So I can appreciate that. Gore-Tex boots, the more expensive Gore-Tex type boots, those are good. Taller in the wintertime. Make sure you're wearing the tall ones, because a waterproof shoe like this one is only waterproof up to a certain point. And once you get these things wet, they stay wet for a long time. That's the problem. So there's my advice on footwear, guys. Try on the stuff before you buy it. That's as much as you can. Make sure that they have good return policies and good customer service, unlike Keen's. But try on the boots if you can, and try on the shoes if you can before you buy them, to save yourself some frustration and some money, perhaps. Anyway, leave in the comments. Oh, and another thing, I almost forgot. A buddy of mine, former recon Marine turned land surveyor in Appalachia. So he has a fair amount of experience with boots on the ground. He covers a lot of ground every single year, and he goes through, wears out a lot of boots, putting miles on them. So he recommends McRae jungle boots for like 3 seasons, basically. If you're in and out of creeks and stuff and your feet are going to get wet, he said they dry really fast, they last a long time, they have good traction in muddy, slippery conditions. I have not had personal experience with those, but he says they are the way to go unless the weather's really, really cold, and he usually wears... I've seen him in some rubber boots in the wintertime as well. So leave in the comments boots, shoes that you've had really good luck with, the struggles that maybe you've had, the complaints that you have about some different types of footwear, and I'd just like to hear some feedback in the comments, because I'd like to learn as well. Again, I'm searching for the perfect footwear, and I haven't found it yet. So leave in the comments what you've had good luck with. Can't wait to see you on the next video, guys. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Notifications bell is always a good idea. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye.